Jason get down in the defensive stance. But at some point, Jason Tatum got to say, I'm the best player on the floor. I cannot be guarded. He's one of the most elite scorers in the game today, and I just don't see that tenacity. I don't see that dog in him. And I thought was going to be his moment after being disrespected all summer long, that he was going to be ready to protect not only his championship, but definitely protect his home court and his crib.
And so they're down 2-0. Cindy, one more. Let's put up A23 as I give it to Wendy here for thoughts on this. Jason Tatum, 23. As I give it to Wendy here for thoughts on this. Jason Tatum in clutch time in this series, in both games, obviously, decided in the end. So both games going to clutch time. Tatum in 23 clutch time minutes in the fourth quarter and overtimes in this series has made 2 field goals with 2 assists and 2 turnovers. Wendy, what are we seeing from a Celtic team that you described as, I don't want to say shaken up, but confused by what has happened in the first 2 games?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation for me to try to get my arms around because the Knicks seem to be comfortable being behind in the fourth quarter. That seems to be where they prefer. They like the feeling of walking the team down. And when you look at the fact that they have won 5 consecutive road games by 3 points or less, which has never happened in NBA history before. No team has done that in a whole postseason. No team's ever done that more than 2 times in a row. They've done it 5 road games in a row. They seem to be comfortable playing from behind. And that is an unusual thing for me to understand. And the Celtics seem to play tight. You would think being up 20 at home, that's when things get rolling. But they seem to tighten up. And I can't explain that. And I think a lot of people are having trouble squaring how this is happening. The results are not matching the process. I really am having a hard time figuring out where this series is going to go.
I got you, Wendy. But I will offer this, too, in watching these 2 games. And in the playoffs at large, I think when you have teams that still have room to grow by the time they hit the playoffs, something unique can happen. Based on what we've seen in these first 2 games, I'm wondering if we don't know the entire story when it comes to health, and I'm wondering if you've sort of seen these guys peak earlier in the season. I mean, if you think about the basketball life of a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, these guys have been in the Eastern Conference Finals the last 5 years together, and Jaylen Tatum, has one more additional run than that. So when it gets late, to Wendy's point of those guys tighten it up, they look tight, they look tired, and the Knicks, meanwhile, to me, have grown through each game in this series.
When we talk about the health, let's just be clear what we're talking about. Brown, there were the injuries, the knee is a concern, and Porzingis is a major concern.
He's only played like 25 minutes in this series so far. Missing him is a big part of what they do, but I'm telling you, I still think it all boils down to 25 for 100. Because they rely so much on
the shooting percentage from 3 in the 2 games.
When you're
they
tired.
Rely so much on that when that's not going down, it's sort of, now we got to drive the ball. We got to do things that are not comfortable, that are different, but they always rely on burying you with 3s. And when they're not going down and that's in the back of your mind, it does change the way you feel. Because now that default that you're so used to being there is not there anymore. And when they don't have that and they go 13 straight shots without making a bucket, and the other team, as you said, Monica, has a little bit of a toughness about them that they keep scratching and clawing, like that is a recipe for disaster. But let's also not forget.
Look at there are your numbers, though, Alan. Again, just to illustrate your point.
25 for 100.
They shot 25% in game 1. They shot markedly fewer 3s last night, for whatever it's worth, but they shot the same percentage. And we had the stat in the essay that we did yesterday. When they shoot above 30% from 3-point range, regardless of the number of attempts, they're basically unbeatable. And when they shoot lower than 30%, they're very much beatable. Perk, go.
So we're not going to address the elephant in the room.
What's the elephant?
I'm gonna say the quiet thing. I'm gonna say the quiet thing out loud, or ask the question, right? What the hell is going on with Kristaps Porzingis? Like, what is this mystery illness that no one knows about, right? This has been lingering since March. Like, what is going on? The NBA don't know. Like, nobody knows what's going on with him. And it's concerning because, like, he's on the floor. Is it contagious? Is it not? Is it, like, what's happening? We need some answers here.
So,
like, you.
Wendy, what do we know?
Keep saying, oh, he's out.
I spoke to him last night. He just described what happened to him in the last few days as a big crash. He said he was managing what he was dealing with relatively well, and he's had this crash, and he feels it from a fatigue standpoint. That's why they didn't start him last night. Now, when you hear he's sick, he's not sneezing. He's not wheezing. He's feeling incredible fatigue. Boston is one of the leading medical cities in the world. He is an NBA player with a huge investment in him. Trust me, they have taken him and had all these specialists look at it. This is a problem. He was managing it well. He said it's killing him that it's happening now, but he is not himself. He admitted that. And that, I don't know how big of a factor it is, but not having Porzingis to go to as an option to run offense through is definitely a factor in the Celtics having trouble scoring.
I believe it is a huge factor, Big Perk, and I think that's what you're getting at. He was their cheat code. As we watched their run through the playoffs last year, when they had a healthy Porzingis, they were, for all intents and purposes, unbeatable, and they missed that in this series. There's no question about it. Perk.
I mean, look, last year, it wasn't Jokic, it wasn't Embiid. He was the best post-up guy in the league last year. He led the league in the post-ups, right? When they ran high pick and rolls with him and they got the switches, they threw it down to him on the low block or at the nail, and he was able to take advantage of it. The Celtics don't win the NBA championship without Kristaps Porzingis. He was the one that gave them the separation in the NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks on both ends of the floor. So I'm not throwing shade or going at him. I'm just trying to understand what is going on. You know, what is happening with him? Nobody is saying nothing. It's just a big mystery, and I think we all deserve answers.
Yeah, I think the part of it that is confusing or frustrating or confounding or whatever word you want to use is that I don't think they have answers, and that's the problem. So let me show you something very unusual. A27. So here's the poll. I want to set it up by telling you that the Celtics, who opened up the series minus 900 favorites to win, are now the underdog in this series. Okay, the Knicks are favored at minus 115. The Celtics, however, all these from ESPN Bet. The Celtics remain the favorites in the East. It is an unusual wrinkle in the way gambling works. But the Knicks are now favored to win this series, but the Celtics remain the favorites to win the East. It has to do with how prohibitive a favorite they would be if they get to the next round.
Can't figure it out either.
So I have, exactly right, I have the poll up, and you just saw it a minute ago. If you go to my page on Twitter X, which is at ESPN Greeny, I ask, who's going to win? And right now, it is 50.
That's crazy.
50.
That's crazy.
We keep the poll open. We're going to keep the voting open until the end of the show today. Celtics 50%, Knicks 50%. Get on Twitter, cast your vote. Let us know what you think. As we continue, 20 minutes straight on this Celtics meltdown and this game.